Yes. So, by the way, this is not a stock photo. This is actually a picture of people in my company. Just saying. Okay. Hey. So this is the next big project that we're doing with DoD. So I'm Elias. I'm one of the founders of B9Lab. We've been training people on Ethereum since 2015. We were like the first ones who had a full-blown Ethereum developer course online. And we've been running courses like commercially since then over the past few years. We've got courses all across blockchain. But there's one thing that's kind of always bothered me a little bit, which is like, we run a whole team to keep the content up to date, and we run a whole team to do mentoring and grading and feedback and all of that for students. But that means that, it's only affordable to like a few people, mostly from the US and Europe. So now this is an attempt at changing that, and we're going to need your help. So I want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing this year. We are trying to train 1,000 developers for free in 2019. We're planning to do this in 2 runs of 500 people each, one starting in March and one starting in October. The way that works is that people can apply. Background doesn't really matter. It's just important that they know how to code already, because we can't teach them coding. So people can apply. They go through a simple coding test, and we take the best ones, regardless of where they're from and regardless of background, and they get invited into the course. The course is then 9 weeks, self-paced. It's like text and videos and pictures. We've been running this for years, so we're quite good at it. And also there's like full-time support by the mentors. There are coding challenges, and we've kind of geared everything to find a good way to teach people remotely and online. So we are pledging to sponsor half of the seats. But we are going to need your help to make this happen. And that can take different shapes. So either like if you're working with a company that is doing something cool in Ethereum, that is doing, building a framework, building tooling, or doing something other that is interesting, then please get in touch. We want to make the process for students as interesting and as kind of colorful as possible. So as they go through, we want to run remote workshops and kind of video lectures and discussion groups through video calls, and also local learning groups in kind of some of the bigger centers, and so on. So if you have ideas, if you have something cool to do, get in touch. I'll show the email in a moment. The second thing is we're going to need money. Like, we're running a whole team to do this and to focus on this, and that costs money. And so we are sponsoring half, but the other half we need help with. So what we need you for is to help us sponsor, right? So there are different ways that this can look like. Let me just go to that screen. So either you can go to blockstars.b9lab.com. That contains all the information. Also, I've got a stack of cards. There are cards all around. If you know someone who wants to learn but hasn't really been able to yet, you can give them one of these. It contains, a link to where they can apply. But basically, we need help sponsoring a lot of seats. And so if you are working for a company that is benefiting from the ecosystem or would benefit from talking to developers, fresh developers, then please get them in touch with us, or get in touch with us if you're in the position to make decisions about this. Tell people about this. We have a few sponsorship packages. That means if you sponsor more than 10 people, like more than 10 seats, then you get access to the profiles of the developers who are looking for a job, who've assented to sharing their information. If you sponsor more than 50 seats, then our team will help you get some of your content and some of the stuff that your framework is about or your tech is about into the course. So we need help from the ecosystem. But also, of course, every little bit helps. We're raising this in DAI. So if you want to throw a few DAI into our community fund, that would be absolutely fucking amazing. So the community fund is designed in a way where we get 50% upfront because we have cost running it and promoting it and getting the word out to the right people worldwide. But we get 50% upfront, and then after we have certified all of the people that have submitted their certification exam, which is in 9 weeks plus 4 weeks certification time to do the exam, and then 4 weeks for us to grade it. After that, after we've done that, the next tranche is unlocked. So we have 2 community key holders. One is MP, thank you MP. And one is Chelsea Palmer, who you might know, who is also very active. Yeah, shout out to Chelsea. So we're working with them. We need your help to make this happen. And so go to blockstars.b9lab.com if you want to contribute, if you want to help us, if you want to give the people who come in from all over the world, who come into the Ethereum community, the best experience possible, then email us and we can set something up if you want to help us make this happen. So spread this around. This is going to be quite like a test for us because it's slightly more than we've ever done before. And we really want to make this accessible. We really want to make this possible. So please help us make this happen. And thanks for all the support that we've gotten so far already. Any questions? Yeah, are there any questions about how the course looks like, about how we're selecting what we're doing?
So tell me about the program, actually. You guys, you mentioned you're doing certification as well, and so
yes.
What are people going to get?
So what we've been doing for a while, we obviously, so this is our oldest course, and that means that it's also our longest course with the most stuff. Some of you may also know, like some of you might remember Consensus Academy in 2017. We ran that for them, so that's the base for the course, but obviously, we've kind of done a lot more since then. People usually love it. So it's 12 modules. You learn about blockchain. So people don't have to know about blockchain yet. So you learn about blockchain. You learn about Solidity. You learn about the EVM. You learn about Web3, truffle, deployment, testing. We also have a module around ethics. We've built an oath for blockchain developers, which is basically a series of questions that people can ask themselves before they're deployed to the mainnet. We try to give people an idea of the responsibility, both technically and ethically, that they have when they put stuff on the mainnet. And the whole thing is, so obviously you have access to the learning management system, but also access to our community communication channels, where our mentors are kind of full-time during the week. We've got people in different time zones, so questions get usually answered within like half an hour. We have obviously students helping each other, and we have these coding challenges, which is, I think, like the most important part of the training has been these coding challenges. No, that is public. So sometimes people feel a bit shy, but usually we try to share this information around, and we're working on making that a bit more accessible. The coding challenges include code review. So for example, one of our challenges in Ethereum is build a splitter, which sounds really simple. And so it's like, hey, build a contract where if someone pays in Way, it gets split down the middle and goes to 2 addresses and people build it. And then we go like, okay, so what about if it's not an even number of Way? And people go, oh shit, yeah, okay, true. And so step by step, we kind of go through different vulnerabilities and different questions, and that we found is like the most boosting part of the program, that interaction, getting the code review and building the confidence that you can actually, that someone says, yeah, that is good code.
Split a pie transfer.
Yes.
Equally.
Exactly.
What I'm really curious about is, do people at the end of this get these cool apprentice pants? Do you guys know these things? Do you guys know what these things are? So when you do, I think in Germany, I don't know if it's only carpenters. Is it only carpenters, or is it any?
It's mostly carpenters.
Mostly carpenters. So when you've done your apprenticeship in Germany, you get these pair of pants that you're supposed to go out and work for a year, wander around and do a free like travel and learning year. And you're supposed to wear these pants. These are like one of those cool German.
If you sponsor more than 10 seats, I'm going to personally buy you a pair of these pants.
Right? Yeah? Okay, that's a good one. Gesellehosen heißen es, oder?
Zunfthosen.
Zunfthosen. Yeah, Zunfthosen. Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Are there any more questions about the program or about the whole thing? Yeah, over there. Can someone? Oh, yeah, I can. Is there a limit in age? No, not at all. Actually, so like our youngest student so far has been like 14, and our oldest 78. So we've got the whole
Oh,
spectrum.
cool. That guy makes me feel young.
Actually, we had a bit of a beef where we had a 15-year-old student and we wrote a blog post about them. And then someone else who's also a student of ours and was 14 replied to the blog post, was like, I'm 14 and I've done it and it's so easy.
That wasn't Dean Eigenman, was it?
So the question was how much previous coding experience do you need? So we usually recommend that people have some experience with like working the command line and you know, some scripting, and also having done something that remotely looks like object oriented. It can even be JavaScript, and we usually recommend that people have a year of some experience. But since, like, if you have the time and you've played around with programming languages before and you know roughly how that works, you can probably pick it up. You're just going to need to put in more time. Like, because the interesting thing is what we've seen in training like thousands of people is like the thing that you need to be flexible to latch onto the paradigm of blockchain development, which is, or how blockchains work, which is just, you know, obviously different to working on the metal or working within a normal framework. So the ability to be flexible and latch onto that is more important than how much code you've written before. And there's probably a Goldilocks zone somewhere where too much experience means that you probably have a harder time adapting to it. All right, awesome. So again, we need your support. Please throw some... I'll bring the website up again. Please throw a few DAI our way. Please, if you know anyone who should help us out with this, or if you know someone who can run a cool program, or if you can run a cool lecture or something like that, get in touch, help us out. We'll keep pushing this super hard. During the month of February, people can apply and go through the coding test, and that's also the time where we're still accepting donations for this run. Obviously, if you're a company and you help us sponsor this, we'll put your logo on the website. You go into the communications from a certain number of seats. You can be in the channels. You can talk to the students. So, you know, there is a benefit to it as well. Cool. Thanks a lot, and thanks to the DoD for the awesome partnership on this. Thanks.
Thanks, Elias. Thanks a lot.